Welcome back everyone to Seed Time and Harvest. Today we're going to be harvesting our compost tea. It's been brewing for about 3 days now. We're going to use this tea that we've been brewing from our compost to feed our plants. Stay tuned. In the past, when we fertilize our garden with our compost tea, we usually use the 1 gallon spray bottle, or we have a 2 gallon, but it's not ideal because it's a lot of back and forth going from the compost bin to the different plants. So what we did was we upgraded to a 15 gallon sprayer. It comes with a pump, and we attach it to our lawnmower battery so that it's easy to spray. You know, we cover a lot more area in one trip, and it has a nozzle that goes wide spray, and it also does a shooting spray. So it's very convenient to use this 15 gallon, and it's very inexpensive. You may be wondering why I have this half a piece of hose in my hand. This is what I'm going to use to siphon the water from the compost bin into the sprayer. That's why I had to remove it from the wagon, because gravity has to pull it down, and if it's too high, then the feed is going to cut off. Also, I'm going to use this cloth to filter the water going in the sprayer so that the pump does not get clogged. So I'm going to bring you in, show you what our compost tea looks like, and then we'll get the garden fertilized. After 3 days, this is what our compost tea looks like. It's been brewing for a couple days. I'm going to remove the pump, and majority of the nutrients has been filtered from the compost into the water. In order for me to get the tea flowing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to you just use a gallon bottle to fill this hose. When the water comes out the next end, and I know we're good to go. And it's almost there. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to quickly put one end into the compost tea and then drop the other, and as the regular water runs out, then the compost will start to flow. We have our compost flowing, and so I'm gonna put it in through this strainer cloth, and it's gonna just filter it into the bin. This is why we strain our compost tea, because all these sludge that came out of it would have clogged our filter, and that's why we strain it out, so that it doesn't hinder the process of spraying our garden. All right, our sprayer is full, the battery is connected. I'm going to take you over to our little pepper patch / bean area, and we're going to get it fertilized. In addition to using your sprayer, you can also use a large bucket to water your trees, because it will allow you to cover a greater area. I'm going to water this plum tree to add a little nutrients to it. Normally you water on the drip line, which is where the last leaf extends on the limb of the tree, but I know there are small roots here, so I'm just going to pour the compost tea around the root of this tree. It's a little heavy, but it's a good workout. Look what we just found. It's a tomato hornworm. Many people ask, what do we do for pest control? Very simple. We use neem oil. We spray every 2 weeks with neem oil to help with the disease, and it slows down the caterpillar's ability to digest food, so they won't eat as much. Or we hand pick them. Okay, so found a little grasshopper, another one here. So we hand pick our bugs. In this garden area, we have a diverse population of plants. You know, we try to mix plants in, so it's harder for insects to figure out what plant it is. And we have mung bean, which we have a lot of mung bean on this plant right here. First time growing mung bean, and it's very productive. We harvested some on the other side. We have some in here. We have okra, basils, 3 types of basils. We have marigold, and we have a Scotch bonnet pepper right here, and then we have a lunchbox pepper. I found the lunchbox peppers do really well On this plant right here, we have 6 peppers, and then over here, we have a lot of peppers. And I also interplant onions, and I just removed some greens, so I put some corn over there. So I'm just gonna feed it. You know, when you put beans in a garden, the beans will add nitrogen to the soil. They'll fix nitrogen into the soil, which will benefit the other plants. But for the potassium and the phosphorus, we're gonna feed it to add that, and add some minerals here as well. Another beautiful thing about this sprayer is that it comes with a 15 feet hose. So I can basically leave the wagon outside the garden on each side, and it'll allow me to water all the garden. So because it's very hot, I'm not going to water the leaves. Generally, you can use your compost tea to spray the leaves to build up the immunity of the plants. I'm just going to water around the roots, soak the roots of the plants, again, because it's too hot. Turn it on. Just soak the base of your plants with your compost tea. Look at all those peppers. And the lunchbox is a sweet pepper. It's smaller than a bell pepper, and they'll go from green to yellow to red. This is a beautiful basil. It's really pretty. We have okra. And over here I have onions. These are long day onions. They won't start bulbing until around September or so. And basically I'm just going to do the same thing for the entire area of your garden. When you have your compost tea and you brew your tea, you can store it for about 6 weeks in small bottles, but if you want to store it in small airtight containers, you can store it up to 6 weeks. If you want to store it long term, you want to make sure that you keep your compost tea bubbling so you don't grow anaerobic bacteria, which is harmful for your plants. And of course, you want to water your garden or spray your garden when it's not too hot, because it may burn the leaves, and that's why I'm watering only the base of the plants. I'm not going to put it directly on the leaves, but doing so will also build up the immunity of your plants. So I want to encourage you to get your compost started so you can brew your compost tea, and that will excuse the need to use store-bought fertilizers if you can make your own. So again, thank you for joining us on Seed Time and Harvest, and happy planting. See you next time.